Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain,
I'm Lynn.
and today we're going to talk about the effect that we feel that paid reviews specifically have on reviewer credibility, and also talk about other paid content and other things of that sort. We're just going to talk about this whole can of worms. Now, to start with, we here at the Board Game Captain don't do any paid content. We do not take money for any content on the channel whatsoever. I understand. I want to start by saying I kind of understand some paid content, like maybe paid previews or paid playthroughs, but I think paid reviews are just ridiculous. I mean, for God's sakes, how can you be objective and review something when someone is paying you? But anyway, before we get that's my basic premise for this video, and that's my basic attitude on it. But before we get too big into it, I do want to do a little shameless self promotion. We just got in recently our mugs that Lynn and I designed for sale, and if you guys would like to support our content, these are for sale over on our Teespring store, and there's a link in the description below. So mine says "Fill her up and let's roll," and the O in roll is a die, and yours is?
Mine says Tears of My Vanquished Opponents.
Very cool. So now, the idea for this video originally came to me because of a video that was done a while back by another YouTube channel, Bauer's Game Corner, where he was talking about how common paid reviews were. And at the time, when I liked his video, and I thought it was an interesting examination, and I gave it a like, and I commented on it, but I kind of thought he was over exaggerating how common this sort of thing was. I mean, most reputable YouTubers will let you know if they got the game for free, or will let you know if it's paid content. And I occasionally see stuff where other YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, will say, this is a paid playthrough. They paid us to do this playthrough. This is a paid preview, things like that. Very rarely had I seen anything that said paid review. And I got to tell you, if I see paid review, that's an immediate, I'm not watching that channel anymore, because that just seems ridiculous to me. That's my opinion. But it didn't seem to be that widespread until this last December. I was at a game convention called PAX Unplugged, and it was a great way to network, and I was handing out some of my dice as business cards to companies I had not had send me any review copies before. And later I was following up with them. A lot of them had given me their business cards. I was emailing them and to follow up, and I did get some review copies out of it, which was really great. But one of the companies, which I'm not going to mention because I don't believe it's their fault for this, one of the companies, when I said, hey, if you're ever interested in us doing review and tutorial videos on any of your games, things like that, let us know, they responded with, how much do you charge for that sort of thing? And I was taken aback, and I immediately said to Lynn, I was like, can you believe this? And then I responded back to them. I said, no, I don't charge for reviews. So if you send me a copy of the game, I will review it and talk about it. And if I like it, it may also then later show up on some of our top 10 lists and things like that. Of course, that's based on whether or not we like it and how much we like it, if it'll show up on other videos. But I was surprised that their immediate reaction was not, do you charge? How much do you charge? So they assumed we would charge, which means they must have been getting a lot of other content creators actually saying, okay, this is how much we charge for doing reviews? And that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I didn't realize it was really that common. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think if a reviewer has a paid review, I would probably still watch it, but I would take their review with a grain of salt.
Big grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like a Plymouth Rock-sized grain of salt.
And also, well, then What's the difference between paid review and a sponsorship? Because how do you feel about sponsorships?
Well, I think sponsorships are okay because sponsorships are usually not by a particular publisher. Most sponsorships I've seen have usually been by like online game retailers. So like they'll be like, you know, if you liked any of the games that were reviewed positively, come buy it over here at Cool Stuff Inc. or Miniature Market, because those are the two of the big ones that do a lot of sponsorships of other YouTubers. So I don't think
there's no one like sponsored by a board game company, because I honestly don't watch board game stuff on YouTube. So I can just go by the things that I do watch, which is book and makeup channels, and they kind of do things differently.
Well, so there's not as much. There are some reviewers who have some relationships with certain publishers, but I don't usually see direct sponsorships from certain publishers. Though some of them might get them to sponsor for certain videos, like they might get help them sponsor to go to a convention or something like that. But I don't usually see it like as a general sponsor, like I'm sponsored by Simon. You know, I don't usually see that as a thing.
Okay.
So, but it's usually much more like internet sellers do the sponsorships. Like Cool Stuff Inc. sponsors a lot, and Miniature Market sponsors a lot. Which again, they're general sellers, and I don't think they really care that much if you review one or two things individually as mediocre or bad. Their general feel is just that they want you to review lots of games, and they'll send you. And actually, with those sponsorships, they usually do send you games to review because they're things they're carrying. But I wonder if there's any pressure there. I don't think so, because I haven't seen it.
I don't know either. It sounds like, okay, so to put it in a context that I'm more familiar with, the paid reviews seem similar to what are called ads on the makeup channels.
Okay.
Where it'll basically be like, the person will be like, this is an ad, I was paid by like Maybelline or whoever to use this product in a video and like tell you what I feel about it. Is that like the similar paid reviews and ads, or kind of?
It kind of is, and I guess
and again, like with those, it's just like, it's like, okay, like she's not gonna say anything bad about it
because she got paid.
Right.
I was gonna say, so I mean, I do feel like it's very important, if they're doing that sort of thing, they need to make it very clear that it's paid.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
I think it's illegal if they don't.
Yes, but that doesn't mean people get away with it.
Yeah. Because I guess who knows besides the two parties, basically.
Right. But it needs to be very clear that it's paid. But even then, I'm much more okay with people doing paid game playthroughs, because then it's like, okay, but they're not judging it. They're just showing you it. Or paid previews. Because again, they're just telling you about it. They're showing you the game. They're not reviewing it. They're not judging it. A paid review seems worthless to me. You're right off the bat. If someone pays you to review a game, you're saying, okay, so this is my review of the game, but FYI, the company paid me to do it. There's no way you can trust the impartiality of that review. I mean, so now,
like, again, if it was something I was interested in and there maybe weren't a lot of other videos covering it, I might watch it, but I'm probably not going to be swayed one way or the other by it, you know?
Yeah, so, okay, so I know that some people out there even believe that it's almost impossible to stay impartial getting free games for reviews. I disagree with that personally. I think generally speaking, most companies aren't even sending you a free game unless they're fairly confident that the game is good. So it's rare that I even have to give a free game a mediocre review. Though we actually did give a negative review to a free game we got not that long ago even. It does happen. I think we've given one or two negatives to free games we've gotten, and a handful of mediocre reviews to games we've gotten. But still, when I get a free game, that being said, I always feel, even with that, it's very important for me to start out the review either saying or having text up on the screen, thank you to whatever company for sending me this free game, so you know that I've gotten it for free, just in case there is any subconscious bit of preference that, maybe not, that might go into my review. So you're aware I have gotten it for free. I personally don't think it affects my final judgment on a game. If a game company's putting out bad games, I don't really care if they send me more games anyway. So if they're going to send me a bad game, I'm going to give it a bad review, and I don't really care if they send me anything else if that's what's passable to them. But generally speaking, I would say most companies, when they're sending things out to be reviewed, it's because they're confident enough that you're going to give it a good review because they want more attention brought to the game. Mm-hmm. So usually they're pretty good. But the paid is just a whole nother level, and it's something I would not, personally, I wouldn't accept. I would not accept money for doing content of any kind, personally. I wouldn't accept paid content of any kind, but definitely not for reviews. It just seems...
Unless you're specifically working for that company, and it's like their YouTube channel, and you're an employee, then, you kind of gotta do it. It's your job.
But then that makes sense. And then you're like, we're the official channel of whatever company, and here's our coverage of our new game. But again, of course, everybody knows the official coverage not to take the opinions all that, seriously. You would rather see more independent reviews to get a feel for what people actually think about the game. Mm-hmm. But so what are your opinions on that, on paid versus like just getting free copies and things like that?
I thought I already said.
No, we didn't talk. You didn't talk about the free copies, really.
Oh, the free copies. Mm-hmm. I think the free copies. It's easier to stay
objective.
Objective. I was searching for the word.
I could tell that was the word you were going for. That's why I just jumped in with it.
Yeah. I think it's easier because I don't know. I don't even know why. Maybe it's just because I'm a mean person and I don't care if
it doesn't affect your opinion.
If a game is crappy, like I don't care if it was given to me free or not.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, I don't. I feel the same. Like if a game is bad, I don't care if it was given to me for free or not. I'm gonna say it's bad. I really don't care. Especially because, again, if that's the kind of game a company is putting out, I don't even really care whether or not they send me any more games, because if that's what they're thinking is passable, I don't really even want to see any games from them anymore. And I mean, generally speaking, I do like getting free copies to play, but only if they're good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and plus 100%, you got to go with your integrity first and give an honest opinion on the game. I think that's most important, or people aren't going to trust you anymore. And I think that's the biggest problem with this sort of thing, is that other content creators out there who are doing this, who are taking money for reviews, I think it's ruining their credibility. I think it's totally killing the credibility of game reviewers to review something they've taken money for to do the review of.
Well, I just thought of something. I wonder if the exchange of money is more of a guarantee that you're going to review the game. Because, we get games for free, and we don't review all of them because,
We usually get to almost all of them.
Yeah, we do most of them, but some of them is just we just don't have time, And I wonder if that's here, we'll pay you to review this, just to make sure you review it in this time frame, if it's just making sure it gets out there.
Well, yeah, but when you know it's paid, how are you going to trust the objectivity of the reviewer?
Well, that doesn't,
Because there's a big difference between just getting a free copy of a game and someone being like, we're going to pay you $100 to review it.
That was just a reason that I just thought of about why there are paid reviews. I mean, it has nothing on why, if they're, you know,
if they're able to remain objective.
Yeah, I mean, it does have nothing to do with that. It was just something I thought of about why someone would pay for a review.
But what I mean, do you think that most of these would you be able to trust the objectivity of these reviewers who are taking money for reviews?
No.
Okay, so you're with you're with me then that you think it's a bad idea. All right, so yeah, I want to know what your guys' opinion is on this matter. I mean, this is a kind of a really weird topic, but apparently this is a thing. I didn't even really know this was as much of a thing as it is until very recently, and I don't like that it's a thing. I think this is a terrible thing. I give you my promise. I will never take money for doing a review. That will never happen. I don't even think I'll ever take money for doing content in general. I think that's a bad precedent to start with your channel. I think we, the reviewers slash content creators, should stay much more independent much more neutral from the game companies in that. I think it's okay to take free games to review them only because otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford to buy every one of the games to review. It really helps us to get stuff to have content and make content on the channel. But money is a totally different thing. I so far have been funding the channel either by myself or through, I've started doing some advertising on YouTube, and I've got the Patreon and the Teespring store, which is of course done by you guys, the fans, but I don't think you guys, the fans, are causing any bias on us in regard to game reviews. So, yeah, I think taking money from the companies is a conflict of interest when you are supposed to be a neutral and independent reviewer. It feels like a conflict of interest to me. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah.
So there you have it. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this topic? Comment down below. Tell us what you think. If you enjoyed this discussion video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And don't forget to visit our Teespring store. Link in the description down below if you want to pick up some of our mugs or some of our t-shirts. I'll throw some pictures of the t-shirts up on the screen. You can also, if you want to support our channel on a regular basis, you can join our Patreon. Also, link in the description down below. And until next time, game on.